Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cardellichio. I want to welcome you to another segment of Momentum Monday. I am here with my co-host and my friend, attorney Jen Garrett. She has written the best-selling book, Move the Ball. I have my copy here. I have it actually autographed right here. See, it's autographed. And so I have an autographed version. And Jen, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. It's another Monday. We're ready to get some momentum behind us. And yes, let's get ready to roll.
Yeah, let's get ready to roll. I was a friend of mine, and I won't mention the individual's name, and they are a personal development individual. Okay. And he's a friend of mine. He's here from New Jersey. He doesn't live in New Jersey anymore. And he talks about gaining momentum. And he and I had a discussion over the weekend about this, and I thought of you and I, and I wanted to discuss this. And he deals with all sorts of individuals. He deals with high-end CEOs. Mm-hmm. He deals with professional athletes. I don't know, because I'm sure, you signed that confidentiality agreement, right? Mm-hmm. And he deals with individuals that are really down on their luck. And they're really going through a very difficult time. And I took interest in that because a CEO, an athlete, a business person, a politician, they've got it together somewhat. They want to take it to the next level, Jen, right? But it's that individual who life's beaten down on them. And he and I were discussing that. So let's discuss those that are really getting beaten down by life, and how can they gain momentum when maybe they're at the lowest point in their life, or they're kind of getting to that. I love those success stories, coming from an immigrant family.
Sure.
Everybody was beaten down back then, right? And that's not a bad thing to say. It's all good, but how would you discuss somebody that is having a very difficult time in life? And what suggestions would you give them?
Yeah, it's a great topic, for one, because there's a lot of people that are feeling that way, especially with everything that's been going on with COVID and factors outside of their control. Mental health, we've talked about before too, is a very real thing for people right now, especially. And so for those that are feeling a little bit down on their luck, I think it comes back to a couple of things. It's one, take a moment, breathe. Right? Remember the blessings that you have, because no matter what you're going through, I think when you put that in perspective, there's always people that are going through worse things than you. Like sometimes I'll joke about, or I'll send a text to a friend if I'm having a bad day about something, and they'll write back hashtag first world problems, right? And it's like, you're right. Like the biggest thing that you can do is maintain perspective and appreciate the things that you have. And guess what? You're still here, because there's a lot of people that are not here, especially over the past year. And so I think it's important to, A, remember that, and then B, remember that whatever pain, whatever situation you're going through is temporary, and you will get through it, but you got to focus on the piece that you can control. And the rest of it, you got to ignore, because you're going to spend time worrying about it. You're going to spend time just wasted on this environment that you can't do anything about. So you always have the choice, right? So what are you going to do today to help you to take a step closer to getting out of that situation, right? And these don't have to be monumental things, baby steps, but what are you going to do each day to get you closer to the goal line, the goal line, and to a new situation. So it's really about thinking, it's really about what can I control? I have choices, so I need to make those choices. And inaction is also a choice, right? If you choose to do nothing to help yourself, you have made a choice that's not going to be productive. It's not going to get you out of that situation. You can't play this victim mentality. I think it's also important to remember that you're not alone. And if you're feeling alone, reach out to people so that you can get that support that you need. I think in today's culture, it's very much accepted that it's okay to not be okay. And so reach out to people, let them know, hey, I'm struggling. I need some help. and so just having that support can make a huge difference too.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's say you're really downtrodden, right? Perhaps things really didn't go well. You don't have a job and you're scraping by. Because I come from the opinion that the human spirit is stronger than anything that you're going through. And it's your own particular human spirit. And I believe firmly, and it's in every fiber of my being, that you can do anything you want in life. It may take some time, but I firmly believe you can come from from whatever, nothing, whatever that means, to something, whatever that means to an individual. So let's take it to another level. No job, no anything, scraping by day to day. What are some of the suggestions for those individuals that are there?
Yeah, I think it comes back to, keeping your faith, whatever that faith is, to know that, again, this is temporary. And if you just, have that faith that it's going to work out, things will. But it's also about, are you doing everything that you can to try to help this situation? And I'm not trying, I don't want anyone, if you're watching and you're feeling that way, to feel bad, but like, what can you do?
No, we're here to motivate, we're here to educate, and we're here to inspire. Right? This is not about feeling bad. This is about helping individuals out, right?
Right. And I think it's, as human beings, we have our pride and we don't always want to ask for help because it makes us feel bad or vulnerable. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, to raise your hand and say, you know what, I'm at a point in my life where things are just not going well and I need some help. So I would encourage anyone who's struggling, ask for help. And even if you're not at the lowest point in your life, but you're at a spot where you're not where you want to be and you know that other people can help you get to where you want to go, raise your hand, make the ask. People don't know if you don't make those asks. I think also it's, surrounding yourself with people that are going to uplift you, that are going to educate, motivate, and inspire, that are going to help you kind of get on the path that you want to go. Look, we've all had different points in our life, high points, low points. And I think if we reflect back on those points, we didn't go through those alone. There were always people that helped us get through it. So I think it's just so important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are positive, people that can help you get out of the situation.
I agree with that. And when I talk to individuals, and sometimes I talk to groups of individuals, I love speaking to those young people who are, maybe having a tough time. Have confidence in yourself. It's tough. I understand. I understand. It's tough. Have confidence in yourself. Reach out, because those that have what you're looking for, when you ask, you may be very surprised that they may be very helpful and they actually may become a mentor to you.
Yep.
And if somebody says no, move on to somebody else, right? Move on to somebody else. You don't have to stay so fixated, and you don't have to feel bad, because I think that's an important aspect of this, is not feeling bad. Having that positive, mindset. And it's not that you're going to be Pollyanna. And you and I have discussed this before, where if you have a positive mindset, you can see the possibilities, as opposed to having a negative mindset and not seeing any possibilities.
Sure.
Right.
And I think I think the other thing comes down to ownership, right? Look, we all have situations that happen. The degree of the situations are different depending on who we are. And so some of us go through way worse things than others. However, we all go through things where we struggle through, and it's taking the ownership of the situation, saying, okay, this is what I'm having to go through, and I'm going to figure out what I need to do. It goes back to having that confidence. I'm going to figure out what I need to do so that I can get out of this, because I don't want to be in this situation. It's not fun. And so If that's how you feel, if what you're currently going through is not where you want to be, then it falls on you first and foremost to figure out, how do you get out of it? Who can you lean on? What's your playbook going to be? Just come back to a sports reference. What are you going to do? And no one's going to do it for you. And I think when I've done a lot of talking in corporate settings where I've talked about career navigation and growth over the years. And that's one of the things, like, you can't, like, people always rely on, oh, well, I thought my boss was going to help me get promoted. Well, what have you done? And so it's really about that, taking ownership over the situation and figuring out, okay, I am here. I want to get to over there. How am I going to get there? That's whether you're really down on your luck or you're not. I mean, that's the formula. That's the formula, is figure out what's the current state, what's future state, and what are the action steps to get there.
Get your playbook. Pivot when you need to pivot.
Yep.
Start putting pen to paper. I'm older, so I put pen to paper, actually mechanical pencil to paper, and start figuring out what you need to do. Do you need to get back into school? Do you need some assistance? What do you need? And then taking those action steps in order to move every single day. Because if you get better 1% every single day, that's 365% at the end of a year. Right, Jen? And how much can an individual grow if they grow 365? I mean, that's a lot, right?
Yep. And it's actually more than that, because there's a compounding effect, by the way.
We're not even talking about the compounding effect yet. All right. Because once you start the momentum and that exponential growth starts, then you get that compounding effect. I understand the compounding effect.
I know you do.
But I'm just saying, even if you just did that and nothing else for 1% every single day, wow, you're going to grow, significantly. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you have one pair of jeans, if you got one jacket, you got one shirt that you're wearing every day, and undergarments, you only have one or two of them. We're here to tell you, you can rock and roll no matter what.
Yep, absolutely.
You can rock and roll no matter what. So what are some tidbits that you can give individuals that are just starting out and that want to rock and roll?
We talked about this before. It comes back to your why. Why is it that what is driving you to want to be out of that situation? That's your why, and your why is going to carry you if you stay connected to the why. The why is going to get you through the darkest times if you stay centered on that purpose. And so, as we've talked about many times, when it comes to changing habits or routines, coming back to the why, your goals, coming back to the why, you're down on your luck, coming back to the why is it that you're not happy, and why is it that you want to get to this future state? Like we talked about the future state, right? Well, why is that? That's what you want. And so remembering the why is going to carry you through any single day.
And Jen, at one particular point during our conversation, there's going to be a question that I'm going to ask you that's of a personal nature. You know it. You know that I'm going to do that, and what you're going to have to get, you're going to have to open up your heart a little bit, and I'm going to do the same here. Okay. Sure. So the question that I ask of you is going to be the question that I'm going to answer in addition to, because you want a strong enough why. What are your top 3 whys?
My top 3 whys. So for me, my biggest thing is to be able to make a positive impact in the world. Obviously I want to reach as many people as I can, but that's a big thing for me. I wake up every day thinking about, what am I going to do? You see what I post on social media, and
yes, I do, Jen. I see what you post on social media.
Yes, you do, and the messages, and so
those messages are great.
It's all about, using my story or my thoughts to really help inspire other people. So I'd say that is a big one for me. Second one is about my family and making sure that I have the best relationships that I have. I think when we're chasing the dollar because, we want to be successful at times, you lose sight of the relationships that you have in your life, and you compromise those relationships. And so for me, that is something that over the years has really been a huge part of my life, especially since my dad had passed away very unexpectedly. Like, I very much prioritize the relationships in my life. And so I'm always reminding myself of that is an important thing, is to not compromise those in the pursuit of success, because that is part of the success. Like, you see so many people that have made millions and millions of dollars, but they're unhappy. Why? A lot of time it's because the relationships they have are not where they want them to be.
Very empty. You need to have positive relationships, especially with your family, as well as your friends.
Yes, absolutely. And the third part is really, leaving a legacy that I can be proud of. I mean, I left my corporate job to go really make a difference in the world. It's tied to number one, but it's separate too, because it's about the footprint that I want to leave and the things that people will remember me by. And so, I want people to think about that. I moved the ball today. You see me hashtag that all the time. And whether you know sports or not, like, that's what I want my legacy to be about is, and on my tombstone, I wanted to say something around move the ball. I want it on there. So remember that.
If I'm around, I think I'm a little bit older than you, Jen. However, I will make sure that there's hashtag move the ball.
Something there, it has to be on there somewhere. It doesn't have to be the hashtag.
There's going to be a TV that's going to be put on top of the tombstone, and every segment of Momentum Monday is just going to
there you go
keep rolling. Just going to keep rolling, Jen. So,
but I think it's important for us to think about, what do we want to leave behind, and are you leaving this world a better place than when you came into it? I mean, it's very cliche, but like, and world is not like the entire world, but like the people that you interact with,
right,
like, I want them to be better as a result of our interactions than not. And so those are three things that drive me. Those are my whys.
Excellent. And my three whys are same and similar. I have multiple whys, but I'm just going to give you three. Number one is my son. Teach my son is extremely important to me, and to teach the younger generation, it's just important to me, because I was taken when I was young, and I was mentored. I had a friend of mine call me yesterday, late in the afternoon, and his son plays baseball, and he didn't make the team this year. So what do you mean he didn't make the team this year? What's going on? So the kid on the other end, he's clearly upset. You can hear the sniffles and things of that nature. And he plays baseball, good baseball player. So I you get that tough love sometimes. I got down and dirty. I said, I'm just going to use the name Bob. His name's not Bob. Bob. So, you're home from school. And did you do well in school? That's the first thing I always ask the kids, I did okay. I said, I didn't ask you that. I said, it's a yes or no question. Did you do good in school? He goes, no. I said, so you got into a rut. And his father's like, you hear him in the background, go, go, go. Because, and I said, so did you go in the backyard with your dad or mom or whoever, brothers, sisters, and throw the ball? No. Did you bat? No. You're 13 years old. Did you work out? Did you do some push-ups, sit-ups? Did you go for a run? No. So I got my son and I brought him into the conversation. They're friends. And I said, James, you're going to listen to this, even though you've heard it before. And I said, this is a learning lesson for you. And you need to move. I did say move the ball, by the way, just to let you know. I said, I was going to say hashtag, but then I said, they know what hashtags are. So I said, you have to move the ball. I said, so I guess it's a good time today to start working for the next sport that you're going out for in the fall, as well as baseball. School's almost done. You got a couple of months left. Let's make it a good one. So mentoring my son, being a dad, is number one. Number two, which is closely associated with that, is contribution to family and to society and to my community. That's extremely important to me. And the third one I'm going to throw in there is the American dream. coming in from an immigrant family. I wanted that American dream. It was very important to get that American dream. And everybody has a different definition of the American dream. Whatever that definition of that American dream is for you,
Sure.
Go get it.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't let anybody stop you. It could be anything. Because I was told if I'm going to be a shoemaker, and a lot of individuals who came from my, the regions where my family came from, they were shoemakers, they were butchers, they were laborers. You had to be the best shoemaker there was, period, end of conversation. You didn't take it any further than that. So those are at least three of my whys. So anything else that you want to discuss before our time is almost up today?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to discuss, Jen, before we get off?
Nothing that I want to discuss, but I would like to read from a post that I had written over the weekend, because I think it ties into the conversation about people being down on their luck, if that's cool.
Go right ahead, Jen.
All right. So I posted the other day a picture. So I was by this ice. My name is Jennifer. And so I used to, way back in the day, go by Jenny. Well, I don't go by it now. Only people that knew me back then do. So there was a Jenny's ice cream. I was like, oh, perfect shot. So so I took a picture of me with this ice cream and store. So I'm going to read what I wrote, because I think it ties in here. So what I wrote was, I said, life is beautiful, but undoubtedly it can be filled with difficult, challenging, trying, and heartbreaking moments. In these tough times, faith can make an incredible difference. So there's a little bit of faith there. So bear with me. No matter what you might be going through, keep your head up. Remember that God gives the hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. There is a purpose for your pain, a reason for your struggle, and a reward for your faithfulness. Faith over fear always. Here's an important part. A strong person isn't someone who never cries or experiences anger or sadness. A strong person is one who cries, sheds tears, or does whatever is needed for the moment, then gets up and keeps fighting again. So, and basically I just said to whoever needs this, keep going, don't give up. And if you need to get a scoop of ice cream, go ahead and indulge, you deserve it. So,
there you go.
Yes. So hopefully,
So
I hope that's helpful. But
no, Jenny, Jenny, that was very helpful. I mean, Jen, that was very helpful.
Yes, and I'm not Jenny from the block either.
And it's always motivational for me to read your posts and so forth. So I recommend that everybody, follows Jen on all of her social media platforms. So Jen, move the ball. Where can people purchase the book? Talk about your podcast and who's coming on, what's coming up.
Yes, great question. So about the book, you can get it on Amazon. Just Google Move the Ball and it'll pop up. It's ebook version, Audible or audiobook, as well as Kindle. And then the podcast is also called Move the Ball and focuses on conversations with professional athletes, successful entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 C-suites, on how the competitive athlete mentality connects to leadership and success beyond sports. And you can just go to movetheballpodcast.com or search your favorite podcasting platform and it's there. Who's coming on? I'm currently in the middle of my Path to the Draft series where I have NFL draft prospects on and they're talking about their journey to the draft. And they're talking, a question that I ask all of them is, what are some of the lessons that you have learned from playing football that you think will help you to be successful? So there's that parallel to things that I write about in my book. I like to look at lessons that they've learned. And then also the best piece of advice that they've been given by a coach, as well as advice that they would give someone. And I've been really, really pleased with the answers. I did this series last year, which was season 1 of the podcast. And I was just blown away by some of the responses that these young men who are 22, 23 share. I was like, wow. So it's a great series. I enjoy doing it. And then, we've had some coaches from the NFL come on, a lot of players. I'm actually recording a show today with a former Major League Baseball guy. So I do throw other sports in there too.
Can you tell us who?
Wes Chamberlain.
Yeah, sure.
And so, it's not just football. So if you're not a football person, it's not just about football. I am holding a football on the cover of the podcast image, but we cover all kinds of different topics. And
There's the football.
Well, the book is about football, but the podcast is beyond football. It's really about the competitive athlete mentality and leadership and success.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jen, for being on today. It was a great conversation. I'm Dr. Dan. You can find me at suburbanwellnessgroup.com or greenleafbewell.com. My podcast is Destination Health. You can find that on YouTube and all the popular podcasty type of places. And listen, Attorney Jen and I, we have Momentum Monday every Monday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join us. We love to motivate. We love to educate. We love to inspire. Thank you very much, Jen. This was a great conversation again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Take care, everybody. Remember, move the ball.